Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of QG Diaries, a program on Quranology Television, QG TV. Today marks day 19 of Ramadan 2015, and today we will pose yet another question for us to ponder. The question is, what are sayings of Quran? And I feel we should clarify this because when people hear the argument, Quran is the saying of the messenger. They get, especially if they believe in Quran, they get up in arms because they say, "Oh, are you saying that the messenger conjured it up?" No, that's not the same thing, really. Quran itself says in chapter 69, verse 40, it says, "Innahu laqawlu rasulin kareem." Verily, it is the saying of the honored messenger. So Quran was heard by the people through the messenger, but we believe that the messenger was inspired by Allah to recite this. So in effect, it is the sayings of the messenger verbatim as inspired by Allah. Apart from that, Quran actually contains hundreds, if not thousands, of sayings. Qalu, they say. Kul, say, as a command, and qawl, sayings. Quran has loads and loads of these, and if we study these sayings or commands or statements, we will come to understand the mentality of a people. We will come to understand the philosophy of Quran, and we will come to understand what human dialogue is all about. Essentially, if we look at, for example, the term kul in Quran, even Muslims who don't know Arabic will tell you what kul means simply because they've been trained from young to say the four kuls, as it were. Al-Fatiha, which doesn't actually have a kul, and the last three chapters, Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and Nas. So, kul here should not be taken literally. Now, why do I say that? Well, if you look at the first time-ish, I think, kul is used very early Al-Baqarah. It says, when it is said to them, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ, do not make mischief in the land. So, if you tell this to people who are not Arabic speakers, you say to them, لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ, they'll be like, what? What do you mean by that? I'm sorry, I don't understand you. And they'll continue doing what they do, right? So, literal interpretations of kul, qalu, qawl, etc., they are not useful to the Quran. Simply because we will not gain any kind of effectiveness from their use. Usually in traditional Islamic circles, people say that, you say the last two kuls, Al-Falaq and An-Nas, they say it as almost defenses against magical attacks, etc. So these things lose their philosophical significance simply because you take them literally. And I think that's a very big mistake. The way to take the kuls are to adopt them as a mentality within you and to use them as admonishment or instruction or simply just sharing information. For example, the last three calls, I'm always going back to them. For Al-Ikhlas, for example, chapter 112. Qul huwallahu ahad. Say He is Allah one. If you say to a non-Arabic speaker, huwallahu ahad, he's not going to get you. But if you say He is Allah one in English, and he is an English speaker, he will get you. And that is, I think, the point. The point is to be able to understand these and to be able to process these. So I invite you actually to our group on Facebook. If you just search for it, it's called Quran Only versus Hadith and Sunnah Discussions. A friend of mine has actually compiled all these kuls. And if you read them in sequence, you will find a great exposition. So please come to the group and you can see it for yourself. So many thanks for viewing today's episode of QG Diaries, and have a blessed Ramadan.